This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thitoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
And that is what we will do. We'll attack and dominate out here at Ohio State, out here live for the first day of practices, Bob. It feels like football this morning, does it not?
Yeah, it does. Well, it feels humid. Not as hot as it has been, but it is nice and balmy out here. It's going to be a fun time for the guys. It's going to be a fun time for the folks to come out and watch, so pretty excited about it.
We're going to have Matt Patricia on for a segment in the first hour. In the second hour, we'll have the coach of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Ryan Day. Morning Juice sponsored by Riverside Bank and Dublin Event Risk Elite Protection. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, the Fan app, and HD3. Download the show anytime. Catch us free from 10 a.m. to noon on 10 TV+. Bobby, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game is today. I know you're excited about that. We are 23 days until the first 4 college football games and 30 until Ohio State, Texas. So, Reds beat the Dodgers last night 5-2. Reds host the Braves at 7:10. The Reds beat Ohtani was on the mound last night for L.A.
They came out in the fourth with some leg tightness, so they were a little concerned there, but should be okay. They said it was just cramping. But yeah, he was playing a pitch all the fourth, but it was fairly muggy last night. Probably a lot more humid than you get in Southern California.
The fact he stayed in the game, as a DH, it tells you it wasn't insignificant.
It wasn't an arm situation, which is what they were, obviously worried about.
Yep. Guardians beat the Rockies 5-0. The Guards are off today. Bodie, good morning, my friend. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, guys. I am super juiced that you guys are out there. Felt a little bit like a puppy just waiting for my 2 best friends, Tito and Bobby, to walk through the door. I'm still staring at the door waiting on you guys to come back home, but I guess I'll be waiting 4 more days until Monday.
How do we look on camera? Do we look okay?
I can't tell if that's George Clooney and Brad Pitt out there or Jeff Thitoff and Bobby Carpenter.
So I guess you'd be Pitt in that situation, right, Bobby?
I guess so.
I guess.
I appreciate it, Bodie. Thank you for the kind words.
All right. So like I said, big show lineup for you today. Can't wait to speak to Matt Patricia and Ryan Day. And really, Bob, my big goal today is just not to pull a Jen and go backwards off this thing and, have an accident.
You should be good. We got plenty of clearance behind here, and we got a beautiful landscape behind us to take a look at, too, as it'll start to be filling up. They'll be getting through walkthroughs here, probably not during our show. But they'll be having some walkthrough and some warm-up and everything else will be going on.
I keep looking around for a button to push, Bodie. I guess you got to push it over there. Let's do this date in history, Bob.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
All right, General, take it away. Make us smarter.
Yeah, what's interesting is I always do a little sheet for this that I then tell Bodie some names off of it. There are a ton of birthdays today. It's going to be challenge for me. I went to the office to get it. I thought I left it in there, but in turn I must have left it at my house. I didn't check because I was in a rush to do all the running, so I'll do the very best that I can today with this. It is July 31st, the 212th day of the year, 153 days remaining in this 2025. This date, 1948, New York International Airport is dedicated. It will later be renamed JFK as the one that you fly. I've only flown to JFK a couple times, usually into LaGuardia, one of the 2 major airports servicing the New York city right there. This date, 1969, Elvis Presley makes his first live concert appearance since March of 61. He's in Vegas at the International Hotel where he will play 57 shows.
And it went like this.
Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all right with you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you.
There we go, a little Elvis Presley for you. When did he pass away?
1977.
Okay, so he wasn't quite old and fully decrepit at that point, but he was on his way.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he actually, I think for that right there, he looked decent because then he had the comeback special he did.
It was in Hawaii?
He did the Hawaii concert, but also did a comeback special that was like a 2-night thing, I believe, that he did. I'm not sure where he shot that one. But he got in great shape for it, slimmed down, and looked he looked great in Hawaii, too. But then after that is when I listened to Elvis this morning, actually, before I came in. So
Yeah, there you go. Really just kind of cash in the chips after that point. You've Got a Friend by James Taylor hits number 1 in 1971.
All you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend.
Oh, what a classic banger there.
that was big on the middle school choir run in the mid-'70s.
And then also in that same day, 1971, Apollo 15 astronauts become the first to ever ride on a lunar rover.
As President Nixon stated, it would be the most ambitious scientific exploration in space at that time. The lunar rover was an electrically driven, bare-bones car to allow the astronauts to cover much greater distance on the moon than the previous 3 flights could accomplish.
This is really a rock and roll ride, isn't it? Never been on a ride like this before. Oh boy.
It had a top speed of about 8 miles an hour, although I think in later flights they actually cranked that up to about 11 miles an hour. Scott and Irwin spent 3 days exploring the Apennine-Hadley region in the lunar rover. There's actually a plaque on the lunar rover vehicle that was left on the moon that says man's first wheels on the moon.
There we go. Man's first wheels on the moon in 1971. In 76, Breezin', the album by George Benson, hits number 1 in the U.S. There we go. That sounds like kind of your jam right there.
I'm telling you, man, they don't make them like that anymore.
Nice little jam for you there back in 1971. And then in 1970, well, that was in 76, and also in 76, Still the One by Orleans is released.
That's my marriage goal.
That is a great song. That's one of, for a song that's 50 years old, that's one that still hits and still lands today. Great job by them.
I don't know if my wife would sing it, like if she has the same sentiment I do, Bob. But I hope that as we get older, that she's still the one.
Or still the Heather, anyway.
Still, yeah, that's fair. You're right.
Either
Still one
way.
of the Heathers, yes.
Jumping forward about 50 or 30 years, Fidel Castro in 2006. This was a big day for Shark, where he handed over the power in Cuba to his brother Raul. So that was it was a big day. They had the transition of power happening there, and for Shark, he's probably, that's a good question. We'll have to ask after Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. Is it Fidel or is it Pol Pot? Who do you think is in that 4 hole on his Mount Rushmore, if you will?
Yeah, I'm afraid to go to any websites that have Sharks lists on them because I don't want to get profiled.
That's okay. They won't let you through the airports anymore.
Right.
And then this date, 2012, Michael Phelps breaks a record set in 1964 by Larissa Latania for the most medals won at the Olympics. I believe he had 19.
Wow.
Where was that here? He had 19 career Olympic medals and 15 overall golds.
So Michael Phelps here with Yannick Arniel chasing him home. It's history of the best kind. So in over 100 years, nobody's won as many medals at the Olympic Games in any sport than this great champion Michael Phelps. He makes it 19 tonight and a 15th gold. It's a place that nobody's been to before and maybe we'll never get to again. It's the USA, France and China. What a moment. Not just for swimming, not just for Phelps, but for the Olympics in total.
For the Olympics in total. Some big birthdays. We got a ton of them today without my sheet. I'm going to try to not miss them all. This date, 1956. Bill Callahan was born. He is turning 60. What would that be? 69 today. I always do the math prior to this, so this is going to be fun.
What year was it?
56.
56. That would be 4 and.
Why are you doing the math? Just do the reverse. So next year will be.
I would do it the other way. I go 4 to 60, then 60 to.
How many is that per minute? How's that going
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
Divided by
I will
60.
divide
right?
that. Count to it.
Why does that matter? Also born today, turning 68 years old, Bill Berry, the drummer for REM.
Said too much. I haven't said enough. I thought that I heard you laughing.
He's the one who left the band with the brain injury or something. Right? They have
Brain
was it a
injury.
Was it a head
What
injury?
is
What
a
was it?
brain
Did
injury?
he have some kind of cancer or something up there? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what people refer to. Someone tells you they have brain cancer. I got a brain injury. You know.
You an REM guy?
I like REM. I really do. I actually had a couple of their albums
Oh,
back
no
in the day
kidding.
before they split up. Also turning 67 today. Mark Cuban, the Cubes, if you will, would be turning 63 today. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2020. Legendary rushman for the Rams and Steelers, and finished up, I believe, with the Panthers. Kevin Green. His rookie year was my dad's last year in '86.
Was it really?
Maybe '85. He came in. My dad's last year, he was on the team. I think he's a first or second year player with the Rams. And then also turning 63, born on the same day. I'm curious what you grabbed from him, Mr. Wesley Snipes.
Some mother are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Are you out of your damn mind?
Who said I was a vampire, huh?
Nobody. There's worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me. Looks like your mascara's running. You're nothing to me but another dead vampire. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer. You obviously do not know who you are with. Alright. You're not ready to roll with this? What is wrong with you? You think this is a joke? You think this is a sitcom?
Kill you, mother. I'll kill you. I'll just enjoy it better.
Remember me? Time for payback.
I must have heard hundreds of you rodents make the same claim. Each one of them have tasted the end of my sword.
I was born ready, mother.
So that's from. Is that all from Blade 1? Bodie, is it the Blade series?
I couldn't tell you exactly on that. I just know it was from Blade.
The first line is from Blade 1. I know that. That came out, gosh, almost 30 years ago.
He was great in New Jack City.
He's great in a lot of stuff. John Laurinaitis, uncle of James, longtime WWE wrestling executive, turning 60 today. Also turning 60, J.K. Rowling, the writer of Harry Potter.
Excuse me. Who are you?
Rubius Hagrid, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. Of course, you know all about Hogwarts.
Sorry, no.
No? Blimey, Harry, didn't you ever wonder where your mum and dad learned it all?
Learned what?
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good one, I'd wager, once you trade up a little.
No, you've made a mistake. I mean, I can't be a wizard. I mean, I'm just Harry. Just Harry.
There we go, turning 59 today. At one point, he led the college football. I think he went to Princeton in interceptions, playing safety there for the Tigers, but probably more notably known as Superman from Lois and Clark, Mr. Dean Cain. Gus Frerotte, he's turning 59. Turning 54 today, Gus Frerotte. Right there, Jonathan Ogden, turning at 51, the longtime tackle for the Ravens. We got Zach Brown here, turning Zach Brown's birthday here as well today. BJ Novak of The Office, and we're getting Patricia here soon, turning 46, so fire away that BJ Novak.
Jim's been looking at me kind of a lot all week. I would be creeped out by it, but it's nothing compared to the way Michael looks at me.
Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
Ryan Howard.
Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
What line of work you in, Bob?
How's my favorite branch doing? All right. Ronnie was blech. Things were at an all-time sad here.
But then I got an email from Ryan that he was coming back to town, and I called the temp agency, and I told them, I will pay you any amount. Just give me Ryan Howard. Give him to me. I want him. I need him.
And you got a goatee.
I did.
Did you get that after you helped me move and you saw mine?
Yes. Goatee.
Fire the guy.
Hey, Kevin. That's really funny.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, Kev.
You too.
I'm keeping a list of everyone who wrongs me, so when I'm back on top, they'll be sorry. Kevin just made the list.
Two more quick ones. We're joined by Matt Patricia here, Ohio State defensive coordinator. It is DeMarcus Ware's 43rd birthday as well.
We are getting set for Super Bowl 50 as the Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers will do battle for the Lombardi Trophy.
Here we go! 2nd and 10, and that will close out the half as DeMarcus Ware pile drives Cam Newton to the ground.
Denver with a 4-man rush. Newton in the pocket. In trouble. Being forced and chased, and he's going to be sacked. DeMarcus Ware's got him, and down he goes.
That's the 7th time that Newton has been sacked in this game.
And if you haven't started already, you can officially start now because the Denver Broncos are world champions. They have just won Super Bowl 50.
And then before we get out of here, I know Bodie wanted to hear this. Passing away in 2022, the legendary Bill Russell.
1969, the year the Lakers would surely end the dominance. The aging Celtics finished 4th in the East, their worst finish in 20 years. The Lakers, on the other hand, added Wilt Chamberlain to their already talent-laden roster. Somehow, the Celtics got to the finals. Somehow, they forced a 7th game against L.A. But this time, the Lakers had home court for Game 7, and they were ready for a coronation. It was Bill Russell's final game, his 11th championship in 13 years, 7 of them coming at the expense of the Lakers.
Well, Bill, this must have been a great win for you.
Exactly.
One more time. And to bring a team from 4th place during the regular season to the world's title, the 11th title in 13 years, you've got the respect of everybody in the country.
Well, Jack, it's my guys. It's just my guys. These guys play ball for me, and they're such a great bunch of guys. I just can't say enough about the guys.
And that is the news for July 31st on this date, 2025. Now we're joined by a Boston legend in of himself. Maybe not quite to the status of Bill Russell, Matty P. I don't want to put that pressure on you. First training camp here, and just missed one last year?
Yep.
So back. So a year off.
Yep.
You had spring ball, which is a little bit different, obviously, than the NFL. But now we've got a goal. We've got an objective. How does it feel to be out here today?
Yeah, just great. I mean, sun's coming up. The fields are ready to go. It's all quiet out there right now, but we know here in a little while it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of energy. I'm just excited to get out on the grass, and try to get a little bit better here today. We got great guys. Our guys have been working hard. I feel it's different in college, right? I feel like they just go all the time. Yeah. They just came out of the summer, did a great job with the summer workouts. Coach Mick does an unbelievable job with them, and they're ready to go. So I just feel like we're just rolling into another phase of practice and kind of moving forward. So,
Matt, what has surprised you in a positive way? Like when you first took the job and then started doing this, like you thought, I didn't expect this to be so good. Or something. Is there something that surprised you about when you came into this job?
I kind of never really put expectations on it, but I'll say this. I mean, the guys here are unbelievable. Our players are just tremendous, not only football players, but just young men. To go in the room and stand in front of them every single day is just such a privilege to coach and teach. Their eyes are wide. They're taking notes. They're excited to be there. They have great energy. The biggest surprise to me is probably just they're just young. They're just younger guys, but they are intense and professional about the game, which is awesome. And then just building that relationship outside of the game has been so much fun. They're just a couple years older than my son, and a lot of these guys are, they're asking the same questions that just, young guys ask. So I just enjoy that so much. It's just such a great atmosphere and environment to be around.
So, what's interesting with this is everybody has a little bit different way of doing it, but you were able to come here for spring. You do, your basic install, get a lot of stuff in spring. Then now, the last couple of years, they've instituted kind of the OTAs. You were around doing that. Do you go back all the way to square one and then start maybe an accelerated progression, or how does this install start here on this first day?
Yeah, we really finished up OTAs kind of previewing what we would start with for camp, because we know the camp schedule is going to go quick. We're up early. We're going to have quick meetings in the morning, hit the field running, and be right into individual and fundamental stuff. So I wanted to kind of give them a preview before we kind of just went right into training camp. So it was almost like we pushed as far as we could with the install and then stopped and then went back and kind of started over just to make sure that we started off camp fast and aggressive from that standpoint. So it's been good. That's why I said I kind of feel like, hey, we're just kind of moving forward. It's just the next phase of another practice.
So I'm sure you're familiar with how Ohio State's defense the last few years. I'm curious, your scheme, your schematic, your strategy, how is it? Has it different? Is it a lot different than what was here last year and the couple of years before that?
Well, I think obviously great year last year, so we got to build on it.
Fans are going to tell you got to do better this year.
Yeah, always. That's always the goal. That's always
yes.
Listen, Bill Russell, 11 and 13 years. Can you imagine that? That kind of pressure was unbelievable. 7 against the Lakers. What a great rivalry that the Celtics-Lakers is. So, we're always trying to improve, and we got a bunch of young guys, a bunch of new guys are going to be on the field that have to kind of step up into roles. We lost 8 to the draft and on defense, so bringing in that next group, super talented guys ready to get on the field and prove themselves. So we want to keep as much same as we can, so there's continuity, with the unit and with the stuff that's on the field. Maybe just a little bit different, kind of like Bobby said in my meetings before, a little bit different teaching style, maybe just a little bit more conceptual, but the same sort of look.
So I've talked to people before. There's always kind of 2 different types of coaches that you've seen. It kind of goes offensively and defensively in the same way, where some coaches have their scheme. They find as many players they can to fit in exactly what they do. And then conversely, a little bit maybe more on your end where, hey, here's the ingredients we have. What can we do to best kind of allocate the resources to make sure these guys are going to be put in the best position to have success? Coming out of spring, did you feel like you had a good feel for kind of what the guys can do and being able to build this structure around maybe some of the strengths of this defense now?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think my job as a coach is really to try to figure out what do those guys do well, how do I put them in position to do what they do well on the field so that they can play fast and aggressive, because then they're going to be productive. And if they're productive, then we'll be good on defense. So it was a lot of time through the course of the spring, even just watching them in the weight room, seeing how they lift, how they run through the conditioning program, and trying to evaluate what are their strengths as an athlete. And then when we get on the field, and what do they do well on the field, communication, and obviously football IQ is a big part of it too. But that's really been important for me is it's not, hey, here's the scheme and everyone's got to fit into the scheme, otherwise you can't play. It's like, hey, what do you do well, and how do I get you to do that on the field so you can go play? Let's create jobs for everybody. Let's get as many guys on the field as we can. That's the fun of football to me.
Bob, I remember when Digger Phelps used to do on TV, he always had his highlighter matched his tie. His highlighter game was strong. I think Matt's pencil game is strong, too. He's got the red pencil there. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not, but I really appreciate that. If there's something, Matt, you can look at and point to and say, if our defense does this well, we're going to be successful. Is there like one, kind of a keynote type thing? You say, we got to do this really well, and we'll be successful.
Well, we're kind of on a fundamentals train right now as you start the first day of practice, so it's hard not to think about tackling. It's hard not to think about, pressuring the ball, trying to turn the ball over, and just good fundamentals in general, defeating blocks. That's where we got to start. I know if we don't do those things well, we're not going to be very successful. You have to be able to tackle. You have to be able to get the ball down. You have to be able to defeat blocks in the run game, and certainly we want to turn the ball over. We know the turnover ratio is so important in the game, so that's where we're going to start.
Your relationship with Tim Walton coming in here, I know a long time back you guys were at Syracuse together, kind of shared vision of how you think this works and how the relationships and the duties and all of that have kind of been integrated together.
Yeah, Timmy's great. And really one of the main reasons I'm here, my relationship with Coach Day and then my relationship with Tim and just having an opportunity to get back and work with him. I know what a great teacher he is, what a great coach he is. Schematically, we cross over a lot. I tried to hire him at one point. I couldn't get him out of his contract. I was always trying to get back together with him because I think the world of him as a coach and as a teacher and a mentor. It's been great for me to actually get back and see him in college again. We were both in the NFL for a little while, but in the environment of college where he grows these guys so well, and you watch the maturity that they come out with. He's awesome to be around. So
what's it like, as you mentioned, NFL to college? NFL, a little bit more of a finished product, more of a mature guy, hopefully. 23 to 33, where now you're getting some 18, 17 in some cases to hopefully 21, 22-year-olds. What has the communication been like, and is there different elements of coaching that maybe you didn't necessarily need as much at the next level?
I think when I walked into the room right away, for me it was a reality check. I was looking at one of the players, and I kind of looked at him. I said, "Is your dad Duke?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Mike, I coached your dad." You know. And I looked at another player. And I was like, "Is your dad Mo?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I coached your dad too." So I think right away you flip into that mindset of like, all right, let's make sure I'm just being very clean and clear and concise with my communication, so that they can go, do the job on the field that we need them to do, and really make sure I'm just starting at the bottom level, and not assuming anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd be in an NFL room and I could say a word. Guys have heard it before. They know what that technique is, or they know what that coverage is, that concept, and you're moving right along pretty fast. I'm really trying to be conscious of making sure that I'm not going through too much of that without making sure that everyone's on the same page and understands it.
You somehow look younger than when you coached for the Lions. I don't know how that is, but somehow you do. But I'm wondering, when a player says that, when you find out you coach the guy's dad, does it make you, does your knee automatically lock up, or does your back hurt, or do you feel old? Does it affect you that way?
Both of my Achilles, they start to light up, my knee, all of it. I just, it's exciting, honestly.
Yeah.
It's great for me. It does remind me that, I've been doing this for a little while, which, is great, but I think it's cool then to go back and, see those guys, be able to talk to those guys, and see so much of what I saw in their dads, in their sons, and that's really cool for me. I think, look, the game of football is about relationships. We talked about this as a defense and as a team last night. That's the biggest part of the game I think you miss, when you're done playing. And I think as a coach and as a teacher, it's one of the reasons you come back to the game. You miss the camaraderie, you miss the relationships, and it is such a special sport where you build those long-term relationships. I can go coach somebody's son, and when I see the guy that I coached 25 years ago, it's like we never left, and that's the beauty of the game that I love so much.
A lot of it's been made of how talented Caleb Downs is, not just skill-wise, but also his intelligence, his feel for the game. Getting to spend the spring and summer with him, kind of how has that evolved, and what have you kind of seen of his abilities?
I'm a tremendous football player, on the field, off the field, carries himself in such a professional manner. I think he is a guy that I look at as a young man that's being pulled in a lot of directions. As a coach, I'm protective of that, and I'm always trying to go in and say, "Hey, are you good? Do you need help with this or that?" And he handles his business. He comes in, he's tremendous at all that stuff. On the field, it's unbelievable. His instincts, he's very smart in the game. He sees things very quickly. His reaction time is just at another level. So that's the part of the player on the field you're like, okay, we can do a lot of things with this guy. He really gets the concepts of what we're trying to do.
So I know you probably went back and watched almost everything from last year, and I've talked about him. People go, what makes him so special? I'm like, well, you can talk about his physical abilities, his mental aptitude and ability to process and communicate and recognition. One of the things I think that's incredibly impressive with him, I don't recall a time where I saw him miss an open field tackle.
Yeah.
Which that's the name of the game. I mean, you've got to be able to get guys down at some point in time.
And in his position, he's going to be in a lot of just one-on-one open field tackles. There's a lot of stress there. I mean, you got these guys coming at you. They're moving. They're running. It's fast. And his calm demeanor just, takes the same approach, has good angles. He's got the inside leg up, drives through the tackle, and finishes it. Sometimes you can take that for granted of just how good of a tackler or how good of a player can be because they do it over and over, and you can't. That's a really special tool, and he does. He'll knock them down and obviously give us another chance to have a play.
Yeah.
So you talk about coaching some of these guys 25 years ago, and you're seeing them again now. And I'm curious, you as a coach, how have you evolved over those 25 years? Are there big changes for you, that you do, just the way you approach things, the way you talk to people? Is there big changes for you in that?
I think we always evolve, and I think there's some years in coaching where we're really, really good at it, and some years where we're not. I think you take those ebbs and flows, but you try to learn from every experience, and you try to improve. And I think players have changed for sure, and how you coach and teach them. A lot of times, way back when, you just tell someone to go do it, and they just do it. There's not a lot of talk, not a lot of conversation. They're just, they're going to do the job or do the play. I think it's real important now to make sure we're always explaining the why. As we go into an install or we go into something that we're doing schematically, we are explaining, hey, this is why we're doing it. And then for me, I love the history of the game. So I'm always going to come back to, this is where it came from. And this is why we do it now because of what we saw maybe before, and that's how it's changed. That's how it's progressed. I think it just all ties back into give guys now a picture, and they should be asking why. Why are you asking me to do this job? I think it gives them a deeper understanding, so I enjoy that part of it.
Worked under Belichick for a long time, head coach, some time in Philly. Now here with Ryan, new coach, and being a defensive coordinator with an offensive head coach, and he's trying to take the step back and kind of be involved in everything. I mean, as you probably see, and you probably found out in Detroit, I always joke as a head coach about 50% is football and 50% is everything else, if it's even that high sometimes. But what is that relationship and why here, why now?
Yeah, it's funny, in my coaching career, it's only my second offensive head coach that I've worked for, through all of my career of coaching. So I think it's great. I really enjoy the conversation. He's a tremendous, coach, obviously teacher, instructor, motivator. It's fun for me to watch that part of it, watch him, get these guys, ready to go every single day, and just that energy that he brings is unbelievable. Very smart football coach on both sides, really all three phases he's involved in talking technique and scheme, and that conversation I really enjoy. When you work for a defensive head coach, a lot of times it's just two defensive minds trying to figure out what to do, and you're going back and forth. But to have that offensive perspective come in and say, hey, this is what gives us problems, or have you thought about this, or I'm seeing this from what you're doing, I love that back and forth. I think that's how you grow as a coach, to be able to kind of get that feedback. And Ryan's he's unbelievable seeing those things. So that relationship's it's just been great.
I'm curious how the resources and facilities here compare to those of some of the NFL teams you've been with. Is it very similar? Is it better? I'm curious about that.
Well, when we would go work guys out for the draft, every year you'd come back, to the NFL facilities, and they're great. But you kind of walk back. I mean, there was a while there in college football. It was like, the Cold War of who has the best facilities. Right. It was unbelievable. And you come back and be like, oh my God, did you see this facility? This is incredible. So I think it's good. We got a lot of players. You have a lot more players, I think in general in college coming through. So some things are just larger, because of that, the numbers part of it. But Ohio State has great facilities. We're super lucky. The indoor is amazing. The weight room, all of it is great. These fields, I mean, it's what else could you ask for? It's not like that at every NFL facility. Some of them have the space to do it. Some of them don't. Some of them are trying to get there. So, but college football usually, it's pretty impressive.
So, what is it going to be like here? It's been a long time since you've been in college, where at the conclusion of camp, I mean, you have to make tough decisions on personnel.
Yeah.
This is kind of a little bit more, when you get done with camp, it's a little bit more of a celebration. Everybody's going to be here, hopefully. I mean, there shouldn't be a reason why they're not. I mean, does that cross your mind where, not that you're not evaluating people, but you're not looking at this, especially with you being a head coach, is it a sixth receiver? Is it the eighth offensive lineman? And trying to do the calculus in your head based upon the best 55 you're trying to find.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I've really thought about that. That 53 cut's always, it's the worst day of the year. You're having really tough conversations, so I will enjoy not having to do that. That'll be great. I think what you're still trying to do is evaluate, all right, who's your one, who's your two here, who's your fourth linebacker, whatever that looks like, and then take those guys that are underneath that and really put together a good plan. What's your IEP? What's your individual education plan to make sure that you can, that you can get up there and get better and kind of improve, whether you're going from 6 to 4 or 4 to 2. We're always trying to elevate these guys and grow these guys as they go through the season.
What's the last 6 months been like for you on a personal level, coming in here, trying to move your family, getting settled in? I know Ryan kind of runs this a little bit like an NFL program where, hey, I mean, the month of June is intense. You were a part of that coming out of spring ball, but then you do get some time off, getting moved in, settled in. Were you able to get away? Kind of what's that been like?
Yeah. May was probably the biggest shock for me. Being on the road and recruiting, that was different. Haven't done that in a while. And then right into June, you're just picking up that intensity and getting back into practice. So pretty immersed in football. My family was still out east finishing up school and kind of trying to get ready for the move. So it was good. I could kind of just dive into the game. But it was good to go home. Packing is never fun. Moving is never fun. My wife is amazing. My kids have been great. It's a big transition for them. But just that's the most important thing for me, is to make sure that they're in a place where they feel like it's home, like it's safe, and that they can go kind of, be kids, and my wife can, settle in herself. So we kind of just took the last couple weeks making sure we did that, and got the house moved, and We're in a great neighborhood. We got a bunch of boxes. I don't know where any of my stuff is, but I know the boxes are at least there. We'll find it eventually, and that's really important. But my wife is she's the rock star behind all of that and kind of handling everything that happens at home.
Other than Caleb, when you looked at the team, when you looked at the players, was there a certain defensive player you looked at and said, "My God, I can't wait to coach that guy. We're going to do great things"? Is there anybody like that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean all of them. I don't.
You got to say all of them.
But I'm going to say this. Being a linebacker guy, right? I can go to that group right away because that's my heart and soul. But to walk in and see Sonny first and foremost, and then Arvell, and you're looking at these two monsters going, oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. These guys are, and Peyton Pierce coming along, and we got two young guys behind them, and everybody working in that group, and James obviously does a great job of coaching them. But you walk in, you take a look at Sonny and Arvell, and you're like, yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like. We're ready.
Well, and that's one of the things that you get in college where they might be a little bit young, but physically you can get multiple first-round draft picks at different positions every year, where in the NFL it's like, well, we have this salary cap and we have bringing guys, but the player procurement element is a lot different. These guys here, to watch Arvell, now if you would have seen him when he got here to where he is now, the development that he has, and great players, obviously, great physical appearances and all the traits that you're looking for. But the mental aptitude of guys, I know we're getting long, we got to get you out of here, but maybe leave on this, just your impression of the mental side of what these guys have been able to digest over the last 3-4 months.
Yeah, and we put some pressure on them to learn. Like I said, some of these guys haven't played a lot of football because they had such a great, class last year that just walked out. And so it was great for me to kind of put pressure on them, see what they could learn, and then just watch them naturally get into their football instincts and do things that we talked about. And, you always go to the guys like, hey, did you really see that? Or are you just kind of playing ball? And they're like, no, I knew. And you're like, wow, okay, he's really being able to pick this up and seeing it, dissecting it, and playing fast in that mode. Those guys inside, they're doing that. Those two backers are great.
Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator for Ohio State. We appreciate the time, sir. Enjoy this first practice. I'm excited to watch and be a part of it out here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. You know how proud of you I am. You do an unbelievable job, and Bobby Carpenter is the best, and so appreciative of you guys of having me here.
You bet. Great. Thanks so much, Matt. We appreciate that time. Have a great day today. Great start to camp. Coming up next, quick hitters. Stick around. Morning Juice.
Hugs from patients like Patrick. It's something QC Kinetics medical professionals experience every day.
I hugged them. You should hug somebody who does that for you. They gave me my life back, and I really didn't know where I was going to go because I was definitely afraid of having a knee replacement done.
No surgery, no downtime with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. They give patients relief from joint pain using their own healing properties to repair and restore damaged tissue. And the results? Well, that's why we see a lot of hugs at QC Kinetics.
Everything is back that I thought I was never going to be able to do again. I'm still smiling, and sometimes it gets emotional. I get a tear in my eye because of how I was before I went in there.
Those smiles and hugs never get old at QC Kinetics. It means patients are finally getting relief. And now, it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate for these amazing treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
Bobby's knees hurt from doing battle with some of football's toughest warriors. Tito's knees hurt from begging Bobby to let him host this show.
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me!
This is Morning Juice.
Do you need a bank that truly values local business in this town and an opportunity to work alongside them as partners? Whether you're a small business or a large operation, Riverside Bank of Dublin has the right tools for you. Riverside Bank of Dublin has the experience of working right here in Central Ohio. They understand the business climate in our area here locally. They're going to help you reach your goals. Whether you need an SBA loan to get your business off the ground, a line of credit to keep your business running smoothly, or equipment finance to get your business up to scale, Riverside Bank will tailor solutions that fit your needs. Visit them at riverside.bank or stop in and get to know them in person. It's 6300 France Road, Riverside Bank of Dublin, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Bobby, that was he's such an impressive individual, Matt Patricia, and hearing the way he talks about, the changes that's gone on with him, like as far as the adjustment to the college game. But I don't want to say it, make sure I say it. He's got a sparkle in his eye. You could tell he really loves
ball.
Loves the fact it's this is Christmas for him. But you can tell he loves the fact that he's here. And he speaks to some of the players and all that, and what it's been like here for him and the relationships with the other coaches. And I meant what I said. He does look younger to me when I saw him on the sideline in Detroit. The way he looks now, somebody's going reverse aging is what he's doing.
Oh, being a head coach ages you significantly. Yeah. So, yes, he is he's happy, I think, to just be running the defense and running for a guy that he really respects.
And since you started working with me, I've noticed you've aged quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the different effect on that one. All right, let's do some quick hitters there, Bodie.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
He's Bodie Wells. What do you got for us, Bodie?
Happy Thursday, guys. We will start with the NBA, sort of. A man who is not completely unfamiliar with getting in trouble over card games, Gilbert Arenas, was arrested on Wednesday in connection with a federal indictment that alleges the former NBA star hosted illegal high-stakes poker games at his mansion in California.
Nice.
Arenas has officially been charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business, and 1 count of making false statements to federal investigators.
Yes.
He appeared in a U.S. District Court on Wednesday afternoon in downtown L.A. He was released on a $50,000 bond after pleading not guilty to the charges. His trial is scheduled for September 23rd. In case you had forgotten this, all the way back in December of 2009 when he was in the league, Arenas and his Washington Wizards teammate Javaris Crittenton were involved in an incident where they brought guns into the locker room, which Arenas later said was the result of trash talk from a card game on a team flight. Bobby, this is strike 2 for Agent Zero. He's kind of getting close to maybe strike 3.
I mean, listen, nothing is more exciting than when a gun enters the scene, Bodie. Remember that. And so Gilbert Arenas was just trying to spice it up a little bit. That's how serious that card game was, that he felt the need to tote a firearm into the facility, which is against league rules and most likely illegal in I believe, in D.C., to bring that into the workplace. And so now you know what you're going to do in California. You're going to host a high-stakes card game, which you're not allowed to do, with probably him taking a rake of it, which is also illegal. And then when they confront you about it, the best solution I've always found is to lie to federal investigators. So you know what? Good for Gilbert Arenas. He seems to really, Agent Zero seems to really be taking his life seriously.
Hey, Bob, he had a pretty good run there of doing stuff illegal there. That's a pretty good combination right there. The gun in the locker room and that, and then follow up with this. I mean,
I said, I'm like, man, I've watched guys get some serious fights. They stopped playing. We weren't allowed to play cards for money anymore in Dallas because there were some fights and guys started owing people lots of money. You get to, 5-figure situations off of one time, and there's guys that they know can't pay it back, and then it gets salty and surly and everything else. Now, I've seen guys fight about it, never elevate to the firearm situation, though, which is obviously on another level.
The indictment says he rented out his Encino house, and one of his associates staged the mansion for the poker games, recruited co-conspirators to host, and collected rent from the co-conspirators on Arena's behalf. They ran illegal pot-limit Omaha poker games. The group hired chefs, valets, armed security guards to staff the games.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, you want to make sure that you have all the creature comforts.
As well as young women who served drinks, provided massages, and offered companionship.
I like
to the poker
this. You
players
know what?
for tips. Now, man, I would invite it.
God, exactly. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't cheap to get in there, but I mean, Bodie, all those things sound tremendous. You get some food, drink, and entertainment. So if you maybe get knocked off your hand, I mean, you go knock one off in the
nice
side
not
room.
Over.
Yeah.
Hey, this could be a life lesson. It could also spark a hell of an idea here, Bob, for something we could do. Because we got a blueprint now to kind of follow on how you got to make sure you hire the obviously all the
can't stop, won't stop. With Combs out of the game, maybe Agent Zero was just trying to slide into his place.
That could be. Arenas though, the only person who might rival his run there, like the Jason Williams, the murder that he committed murder. When he was in the NBA or just getting out of the NBA when he shot.
He was still in the NBA, I believe.
Yeah, allegedly. I'm sorry, you're right. And Gilbert, innocence proven guilty, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, less than 2 weeks following him settling a rape lawsuit, Shannon Sharpe's days at ESPN are officially over. The Athletic reported on Wednesday that the worldwide leader made the decision to cut ties with the NFL Hall of Famer. Sharpe has not even made an appearance on ESPN since late April when some of those allegations first came to light. Tito, now I'm not sure what I'm going to do with myself each day, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon with Sharpe and Stephen A. not being able to scream at one another anymore on First Take.
Right, I get to not watch it more. But, yeah, the Shannon Sharpe thing, though, he sounded so confident when it came out. I said, I'll be back, don't worry, I'll be back and all stuff. And I know, Bobby, that there's a formula that comes into play when you're deciding whether to settle a case or not. Like, you have to weigh the risk versus the reward. And so just because he settled, I know optics would say, and I believe it
doesn't mean people are guilty. It
right.
doesn't mean they're innocent. Like one of my friends is a corporate attorney, and she does the calculus all the time on this. And a lot of her clients are like, they'll settle, and they have a number, and it's like, even if they're innocent, it'll cost more for us to go to court. Getting drugged through all of it is not worth it. Here's a number. See if you can get them to agree to this. If they can, then they can go. And so I'm not here to weigh in on his guilt or innocence, but just the perception of it looks bad. He's a public figure. He works at ESPN, which is a Disney property. They were not probably going to be excited about that, about everything that went around. And like Bodie said, he hadn't been on since April, so there wasn't a high likelihood that he was going to be returning.
And in the article, Sharpe, who denied any wrongdoing, claimed he had nothing more than a rough yet entirely consensual relationship with his accuser.
Under Marv Albert.
All right, guys, baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays, they are currently tied atop the American League standings with the Detroit Tigers. On Tuesday, they made a move
How is that real?
I know. They made a move to strengthen their bullpen, acquiring right-handed reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez from the Baltimore Orioles. Great name there, Sir Anthony. I don't know if he's been knighted or not, but his parents still gave him the name. Good news for Dominguez. He did not have to travel very far to join his new team. That's because Toronto was not only in Baltimore for a 4-game set this week against the O's, but the two teams were playing a doubleheader on Tuesday when the trade was made, and they decided just to go ahead and make the trade right there in between the two games. So Dominguez gets to go from a last-place Baltimore team to a first-place Toronto team, and he only had to walk across the hall to join them, Carp. That's pretty convenient.
I mean, I remember a couple years back that Baltimore was young, poised to put this team together. They'd been bad for a long time.
Just last year.
Yeah, was it? Okay, I thought it was 2 years ago, just last year. Yeah, now they're sucking again. I envision this kind of like an old school, gladiator style, American Revolutionary style battle where the generals ride out at the beginning. They go talk, maybe like Hector and Achilles meeting at Troy. And then that's where they decide, you know what, here, you just take the guy, then we'll go back and we're going to go have our fight. They make the little trade, have their little parlance, and then they move on.
Bob, this will be lost on you and Bodie, but I'm going to tell it anyways. If Sharpe was here, he would appreciate this. It reminded me of a story that I found, read recently, I should say. And there was a time when Brooklyn was playing the Reds in a doubleheader, the Brooklyn Dodgers. And before the game, Brooklyn's manager went to this outfielder named Kyle Abrams, who wasn't doing well, was sitting on the bench a lot. And he said to him before the game, he said, look, you're not doing anything for the team to help us out. He said, you're going to help us out today, though. What I want you to do is I want you to anger the Reds manager, Roger Hornsby. Get him as angry as you can. Yell at him. Call him every name in the book. Just get in his head. That's what I want you to do the entire game. Do that. And so Abe says, okay, game starts, and he starts just yelling everything at Hornsby, insulting him so much, cussing at him, saying all these things mean to him, and Hornsby's getting all pissed off and everything. And after the game, Abrams says, Abrams told by the manager, hey, you did a great job, Cal. By the way, you've been traded to the Cincinnati Reds. Head over to their dugout now. And so they traded him after telling him to do that to Hornsby, berated the whole game, and then shipped him. That is next level.
That is some next level stuff. Maybe not quite to that degree, but there we go, getting the trade done nonetheless.
Yep.
Carp, have you ever been involved in a game that was delayed for any reason whatsoever, but maybe in particular because a fan or fans threw something onto the field?
I have not. I've never been part. I mean, I guess I was involved with a lightning delay in high school. Maybe one time where the game, they had to finish it up on Saturday morning. But outside of that, not a ton of delays. Nothing to where people were throwing projectiles, if you will, down onto the field.
Okay, that's because on Tuesday night in a WNBA game between the Golden State Valkyries and the home team, the Atlanta Dream, there was a neon green adult toy thrown onto the court with less than a minute into the game, into the fourth quarter. The Valkyries went on to win that game. I should say less than a minute remaining in the fourth quarter, not into, but remaining left in that game. The Valkyries, they'd go on to win 77-75. The Valkyries forward, Cecilia, give me a shot here, Zandalensi.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Nailed
close. Cecilia Z. She said, quote, after the game here, quote, I mean, first of all, it was super dangerous, and then we found out what it was, and I guess we just started laughing. I've never seen anything like that. I'm just glad we worked through that situation. We stayed locked in. We stayed concentrated and got the W. Guys, take it away. I don't really know how to tease this and toss
Bobby,
it over.
I mean, how'd you get it in there? Did they keister it to get it in? I mean, that's what's question. You have to go through a lot of security to get in there. When I go to Nationwide Arena, I mean, they want to make sure they're take your cell phone out, everything out of your pockets. Like, I've never been able to sneak anything in there. So, you know what? Kudos to whoever's able to do that.
Can we clarify something here?
Yeah.
You never tried to sneak in something like that. Fair?
Well, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Something like
I
that.
Make sure on that
I mean, really anything in general. I mean, they make you clear your pockets.
You don't think
walk
you
through a metal detector?
You don't think you could get through? I don't think this was
I mean,
metal.
if you want to challenge
it wasn't
me,
metal,
I understand that. But
it looked like it was a bit of a
it also wasn't
substance.
small either. It's
No, it
like,
wasn't
what are you
small.
wearing, a coat into a game right now?
Yeah. I mean, Bobby, there's a way you and I could both get something like that in there, couldn't we?
Well, I just suggested the methodology of getting it in.
No, I'm not saying the keister thing. We don't have to go to that extreme, do we?
Can't we
just put it in the front and walk in?
I don't know, Thitoff. That seems
Tito,
like
let's find out, Tito. Why don't you let us know?
Maybe we'll do it this year. I've got a media pass. Media pass, Bob. They don't check us that.
That's right. It was one of the members of the media that did it, which would be tremendous.
You know what I tried to do today, Bob, with the quick hitters. I tried to make it as uncomfortable for Bodie as possible by giving him this topic.
Oh yeah.
And have described to us because we're doing this over the air here, but have described this topic to have him pronounce the player's name, to discuss the Shannon Sharp stuff and the Gilbert Arenas stuff.
That's good.
I really hope I made Bodie blush.
How do you do, Bodie?
I felt great, Bob.
That's good.
Like I said, still like a puppy over here, just looking at the door, waiting for you guys to walk in at some moment. But other than that, doing good.
So yeah, we're gonna have Coach Ryan Day on here shortly. He'll be making his way over here. Bob, when you go to interview Ryan, do you have a question in the holster already to start off?
I'll think of one here as we get rocking. There was a couple that I had kind of on deck for Matty P, and so I'll have a couple probably on deck for Ryan. Yeah, and then we'll listen. You know, part of a great interview, Thitoff, is not asking your questions, is listening to the answer to then facilitate a conversation.
In the chat, somebody mentioned how much they enjoyed your questions to Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Now, as I agree, I as well, but I'm a little disappointed. I feel slighted that they didn't say, like somebody else, "Oh, Tito, you did pretty well too." All they highlighted was you, and I feel like that was a bit of a slight.
Well, maybe it was, but part of it is too, Thitoff. I mean, I ask questions that I kind of know sometimes how he's going to answer them, just because knowing him for so long, and so when you have an idea of that, you can kind of sculpt a narrative of kind of what you want to get to, what you want to talk about. And of questions that I think people would want to hear. What information would someone want to glean from this? So how do I ask a question that'll help kind of lay all of that out and allow him, a nice little runway to give the folks the knowledge they want?
So he was great. We're glad to be out here. Happy to be out here on the first day of practice. So we have Patricia on. We're going to have Ryan Day on coming up in the next hour. And then tomorrow we'll have Brian Hartline on. So make sure you stick around. Great job on the quick hitters there, Bodie. Coming up next, like I said, next hour, Ryan Day's going to stop in here at some point. We'll do that. Morning Juice.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
When it comes to protecting your assets, you need a security partner. Event Risk Security Services is a U.S.-based veteran-owned company providing protection services, consulting to Fortune 500 companies, movie studios, celebrities, and high-net-worth individuals. If you're tired of fluff margins with low compensation for poor quality services and an endless revolving door of vendor staffing, then give them a try. They're virtually the same cost, and they can address what keeps you up at night. Event Risk. Check them out at eventriskinc.com to learn more.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them. Safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm the Innovation Ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit Food Allergy.
We ask parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed. And he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I. And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence. We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
We are attacking. We are dominating. We are juiced out here at Ohio State. Day one of our 2 days we're going to spend out here. We'll be out here at the same time tomorrow. Can't wait. If you watch us on YouTube, it's just an incredible shot, the backdrop you can see behind us. And, Bob, I'm curious for you. Can you remember what was going through your mind like this first day of practice when you were a freshman on campus?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously very, very intense time. For me, it was a little different. Like AJ and myself came in and were working out before, so because this was back in the day before anybody pre-enrolled, like nobody enrolled before camp. So you would come here, and what was also unique is my freshman year was the last year of freshman camp, so we would enroll 3 days early. We're not enrolled, but have camp 3 days early before the start of the upperclassmen getting here. So, yeah, it was just like trying to do your best, trying to impress everybody, make sure you're in a good spot. And it's always an exciting time, though, and nerve-wracking, but those nerves hopefully help you hone you in and perform the very best you can. And now pleased to be joined with head coach of Ohio State football. First day of practice here. Second year you've done the open practices to the public, which is something that's kind of been new, I think. But you were in the NFL for a long time where you had the fan involvement. What is starting off, Ryan, good morning. Great to see you. And what has that been like for you with these open practices, and how does that kind of impact how you prepare and how the guys play?
Yeah, good morning. Man, we got a beautiful morning. Hopefully the rain holds off for us. But either way, we're going to have a great day. Day one, as you know, it's just there's so much that comes with day one. It's like the first step in a long journey. I think nowadays, because we have spring practice, because we're able to do some things during the summer now, it feels almost like just the final step in the journey to the beginning of the season. But we had some long meetings last night, and this is a big month for us. One of our goals this season is to win the opener because of the type of game it is. So this month is really important for us to have a great camp. Having the fans here is something that we decided to do, and we feel like it's great because the fans are able to come out and just see what it's like behind the scenes for a practice. It gives our guys a little bit of juice, and it gives us a little bit of that NFL feel. And I'm sure there's not a lot of I'm sure there are some, but not like Ohio State where they could do something like this, where we'll have 3 days where it'll be packed.
So, Ryan, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by asking who the starting quarterback is, because I know you're not going to announce it here on Morning Juice. Who's the backup quarterback?
Well,
never mind.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is, they're all going to have to be ready to play.
Yeah.
I think last year when we had 5, it was hard to get everybody reps. This year we're going to be able to get all 3 guys reps. You'll see today that we'll be going on 2 fields for the first 3 days. And when you go on 2 fields, like, it's important to get these reps. During the summer, we're lifting, we're doing different things. Guys are throwing routes on air, but that's not real football, as you guys know. So we're able to get 48 plays in a 14 or 15 minute period based on 2 different fields. We're going to go 2 groups on each field, so you're going 4 groups, and now we're rolling. When that number for our roster gets hammered down all the way to 105, because we're actually able to go to 120 this year based on a couple rule changes down the stretch, we're able to do it. When we go to 105, it's going to be a lot harder to do this. So, but I'm excited about that because it's allowing our guys to get reps. They need reps. They need to actually physically do it, learn from it, make mistakes. I say it all the time, like, when you jump on a bike for the first time, you're going to fall off. You have to figure out how to do it. There's intelligence, like real intelligence by actually doing it. Then there's like this artificial intelligence, which is like watching it, seeing it. I think about Good Will Hunting all the time, and when those guys are sitting down, and Robin Williams was like, well, you've never, sat by the bed and watched your wife go through something, and, you haven't lived life. You haven't actually done it. And he had all the intelligence in the world. He knew what he wanted to do. It's the same thing in football. Like, I can go through it a million times in a meeting room, but you got to get out there on the field and do it. So that's why we try to get so many reps on these first few days. And by splitting up into 2 fields, it allows us to do that because these quarterbacks need to see all these different types of plays because every play is its own individual play. And then getting this experience and learning and growing because that's what camp's going to be all about.
Is it more important this year than maybe in the past just with the mass exodus of talented players who had played a heck of a lot of football here? You look at it now, you've got a couple of young quarterbacks, and not even just there. Offensive line-wise, you could say fortunate or unfortunately, I mean, a lot of guys had to play last year, so those guys got some of those reps. But defensively, receivers are pretty set, young running backs. Just looking at that whole picture, more important maybe this year than in the past?
Yeah, and with the first game. Yeah. We got to be right going into this first game. So, yeah, completely agree with what you're saying, and not that we drastically change things, on a year-to-year basis, but it's different, and it'll be different. This is a big camp for us, and we need these reps, and it's got to be a physical camp.
The leadership element, when you lose that many guys as well. I know Mick works on that a lot. You guys do a lot of forcing guys to kind of step up into those roles throughout the summer. How have you kind of seen that develop, and do you feel like everybody's in a good place after losing so many big voices as well?
Yeah, we had our champions meeting last night, and I've been very impressed with the leadership this summer. Mick would tell you that the leadership's been very, very strong. We use this thing, and Urban used to do it. It was called a 10-80-10 bell curve, where typically 10% of the organization's elite, 10% is falling behind, and then there's this 80% in the middle, and it looks like a mountain. It's a bell curve, and it's the job of the leaders and the coaches to push that bell curve, push that mountain towards the elite. I think we've done that. I think a lot of guys have made strides that way, but we need to continue to grow as the season goes on with some of those guys, especially some of the younger guys stepping up into these roles. But I will say I think the leadership's been stronger. You're hearing guys speak up, and that's a big part of any leadership. When you played, it was important, but now more than ever because guys just aren't as verbal as they used to be, maybe because of the way that things are and the way the kids are.
Because you live in the machines.
You live in the phones, man. But guys are doing it. They're stepping up. They're speaking out. They're having a voice, and it's okay being uncomfortable. Like, challenging your teammates is just showing them that you love them, and that you'd rather challenge them now and be uncomfortable in this moment than have the regret down the road of failing. And so those are all the things that happen during the summer that nobody sees.
Ryan Day joins us here on Morning Juice. I know that you made the statement the other day that, we're not defending national champs. No one's coming to take it away from us. That trophy's staying where it is, and you're looking forward on all this. But I'm curious, does it feel differently this year after having success last year? Is there any difference in how you prepared or how it felt for you? Do you feel any different than you normally do in the off season?
No, I've shared this before. When you listen to Scotty Scheffler talk before the British Open about after you win the national championship, kind of life goes on, and that's true. And I've said this before: winning at Ohio State is what the expectation is. You're expected to win every game. You're expected to win championships. And if they don't, they're going to find new coaches. That's just how it goes. They're going to find new players. And that's what we signed up for when we came to Ohio State. That expectation's been set for a long, long time. But winning championships, winning games just allows you to continue to do what you love, and that's having an impact on people. And that's what coaching's all about. That's what life's all about. And life is all about being in the moment and enjoying the journey along the way, being present. Like today is all about day one. Not worried about last year, not worried about this year, what's coming with that. It's just being right here. And the book that we read this summer was Chop Wood, Carry Water, which is really what that's all about, is being here right now. And so if you're chopping wood, like you're not distracted with anything else, you're just chopping wood in that moment. And so that's what we're going to do. That being said, we also last night as a team went through the goals for the season. We looked at the schedule and what comes with that, and open up with Texas. You have a couple of non-conference games. You have a bye week, and then you go on a little bit of a gauntlet. You go to Washington, and you come back and play Minnesota, and then you go to Illinois, and then you go to Wisconsin, bye week, Penn State, and then you cut week. So kind of making sure that they know what we're up against. What does the season look like? We talk about the playoffs. We talk about getting to Indianapolis, all those things. But once that gets pushed aside, it comes back to right now. Having a great meeting this morning, having a great day. But make no mistake about it, we want to be the first team in Ohio State history to win back-to-back national championships, and we're not afraid to say that. I mean, that's the goal, and our guys are locked in on that. But we can't get too focused on that. We got this monster game starting the season.
So as you talked a little bit, there's talent and then there's experience, and trying to balance those two things is always key. You obviously want a lot of talent on the field, but experience is big. And you look at some of the guys that you had lost last year that were just great leaders, and maybe. I would talk to Cody and Lathan about this, and I told him, I said, what makes you guys great is not maybe your physical assets as much as it is your mental aptitude and experience and everything that came around the game. And so with that, the loss of a lot of guys, is this team more talented than maybe last year's team?
I know. I don't think I can say that. I think both teams were talented. But like you said, the experience of playing certainly makes a difference. And so what we say all the time is, God has given us talent. What is talent? Talent is God-given. Certainly we have a lot of talent. I think when you look back on, every team in the last 50 years at Ohio State, there's been talent.
Yeah.
It's our job to develop discipline and skill. Discipline is everything God didn't give you. Skill is what you need to play your position. And so when you combine really talented guys who have built this discipline in their life and learn how to play the position at a high level, that's when you have a chance to really do something special. So you've heard people say you control what you can control. That's what discipline's all about. What you put in your body, your focus, your effort, how hard you go, your ability to stay in the moment. When we're in week 3 and we're in a walkthrough late at night, like how much are you actually in that moment, or how much are you distracted about what's going on behind you? Those are all the things that are going to matter, because every inch matters when you're playing an opening game like this. Every inch matters when you're trying to chase a national championship, because everybody else in the country is trying to do the same thing. There are other talented teams out there. What's going to separate us when we go in these matchup games where we don't have a talent advantage? And that's what we try to focus on all the time. It's one thing if we have a talent advantage against somebody. We should win those games. But the question is, when talent's equated, what is going to separate Ohio State? And to me, it has to be our discipline and skill.
So you mentioned a little bit looking at the season and kind of breaking it down into subsections a little bit, especially with the prospects of a playoff run afterwards. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit kind of an NFL mindset, where you in the 16-game model you always kind of quarter it and like, hey, can we go 3-1 in every stretch? Is there a little bit of that permeating into this now, just given with the longevity of the season?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, like you said, you can't just. It's people say, well, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Not really. It's a series of sprints along the way. Like you don't play the game of football that way. In a marathon, you got to go. But it's also good to understand that there are ebbs and flows of the season, and recognizing like, okay, here's a run we got to go on. Here's a bye week. Here's a run we got to go on. Here's a bye week. Here's to the end of the season. All right, here's the postseason window. And I think it's easy for guys to focus on that and not get too caught up in just another game or another practice. So we try to do that for them. All that being said, we got to be in the moment. We got to do a great job, and then building it from there. But to your point, yeah, I mean, when you look at last year, we had to make some adjustments along the way. It's not just the same way all the way through. And in the past, when there was only 12 games and then you played a national championship, it was very, very different than it is now. And if you stub your toe in this playoff system, you can get back up off the floor and you can roll and create some momentum with yourself, which is very similar to the NFL. So to your point, I think there's some similarities there.
Ryan, it's a very vivid, I think, in Buckeyes fans' minds, the image of you throwing the headset up in the air after that game. And you went on your talk show tour after that and did a bunch of shows. I know you wouldn't do it, but I really wanted to go out there like Ric Flair, like with a big robe and cocky and do all that. I know you wouldn't do it, but was there ever a moment, though, where you felt like that?
No. It's just everybody's their own personality, and I see people in all different, walks of life looking to chase, things like this, and everyone, has to be themselves, and that's one of the things that, I was told a long time ago, just be yourself, and don't try to be somebody else. To me, when you go through that, you're just the joy you feel because of the expectation here, because of how many people love Ohio State football. When you win, you feel joy for everybody, because how many people have come up to me and just said, hey, like, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for the joy. I lost my grandfather. He was able to see the national championship. I brought my kids to Atlanta. I brought my kids to L.A. And just hearing the stories of how it, brings generations together, but then also the joy of the players. And ultimately, that's what it is. It's not about me. It's not about anything like that. But along the way, you just, you fight through all the different things that come with it, and then you come out the back end. I will say that, after you win one, you get a certain level of trust and credibility moving forward, because, hey, guys, if we follow this plan, this works, and not that there ever wasn't any buy-in, but now there's more buy-in, which certainly helps with the team.
So we've had you here for a long time, Ron. We appreciate it. I'm gonna get you out on this, and you talked about he's trying to turn you into Ric Flair. One of the images that I remember after the game is you, Nina, and your three children, kind of embracing, understanding that it's as much as it is success for you, it's success for your family, because they live this, they breathe it, they experience the same way. It's a dog on a leash. I mean, you feel all of the energy going back and forth. Having, kids now, and especially RJ, who will be in his junior year, I believe, that are getting to this age, interacting with the players, interacting with your own family, what you're able to glean from both, has that made you a better coach and a better father? Just, the cross section of those two events.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that my kids have been raised. Certainly RJ's been raised in an Ohio State locker room, and that's big. I think when I look at him and where he's at with his journey in faith and where he is in football, like, a huge part of that was that locker room and the guys that had an impact on him on a daily basis. I remember Dwayne Haskins bringing him to a high school football game when he was real young, and he'll tell you some of those stories. But yeah, I mean, it's when you have a son go through that, then you go through the recruiting process. It kind of brings some light to you as a coach. Like, every decision that you make should be, how would I want my son treated? Now, you always knew that, but when you go through it, it just brings more light to it. But to your point, yeah, I mean, it's our family's job to make sure that we're holding up our end of the bargain here, because of how important Ohio State football is. So we're all into this thing. And so, when we succeed as a family. When we fail as a family. I mean, that's just the way we look at it. And, to be the first family that's kind of had to go through it with kids, who are in elementary school, middle school, and now high school, is its own experience. And it's been great. There's been challenges along the way. But I wouldn't want it any other way, because the way that they've grown up, the people they've seen, the experiences they've had, have made them who they are today. And not exactly how I grew up, but but it's a great challenge every day. And so I'm excited to see how his junior year goes. Excited for the girls. My daughter heads into her freshman year, and I'm
sure excited for dealing with them. I mean, that's
yeah.
Having a freshman daughter myself, Ryan, that is
a lot of fun.
Yes,
a lot of fun. Yes.
Well, you can yell at your son. That's the difference.
Right.
I always say you can always overcorrect
Yep.
hard on your boys. The girls is a whole nother. I mean, that's thread and needle from 10 yards away.
Yeah. My wife Nina can yell at them. I can't. I got to be smart about how I handle that one.
You got to admit, Bobby, it would have been cool if he walked out in a Ric Flair robe, doing the strut, just one time. I think it would have been a great look. All right, I'll stop it.
Not going to happen.
Next year.
Actually, I apologize. One more.
Yeah.
Being this, I mean, I noticed we've got a little gray in the beard. There's been talk a lot about the dyeing of the beard. I've been convinced. Tell people, head coaches don't have enough time to self-groom like that. I mean, that's just the wearing now of the
I'm
the
lucky
age of
enough
this
to have
job?
time to shave, but it's coming. It's coming. I always wanted, my uncle, who kind of had the same. He had salt and pepper hair when he was like 25 years old, and so I always kind of thought that would be the case. It hasn't. It's been hanging on there, but yeah, you can start to see it coming through in the beard. And actually, there was a young kid who said that his parents came up and said, showed a picture. And he said, my son dressed up for you at Halloween. They showed the picture. They said, yeah, we use these different things or whatever. And the little kid says, well, he looked up at me and says, well, now I'm going to have to put some grays in there. Oh. That's what he said. It was cute.
All you got to do is look at those pictures outside And they had the 0-2 team for a long time with Tress.
Yeah.
And that was my freshman year. I'd come back towards the end of his career. I said, his job is like being the president. I mean, you come in as a young man and you leave weathered in age just from the stress.
Yeah, a couple of recruits had come in, and the mother saw a picture of me like the first year.
Yeah.
And then saw me now, and it looks like I'm an old sailor who's been at sea for about 7 years.
Well, thanks for the time, Ryan. We appreciate it. I know you got kind of a busy day today, right? A little bit going on for you today.
Yeah,
going
exciting
forward.
day, good day.
So we thank you for stopping by, and the people in the chat that are watching us on YouTube. Nothing but great things to say about Day and the season last year, and we're all looking forward to this year. Thanks
Sounds
for the
good.
time.
You got it, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, you got
That
it.
was Ryan Day, head coach of your Ohio State Buckeyes. Coming up next, something pretty cool happening at the game tonight. We'll talk about that. Morning Juice.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little fly, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step,
Bella, let's go.
guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Event Risk. What keeps you up at night? Visit EventRiskINC.com.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
You know, Bobby, that was great to be able to talk to Ryan Day a little bit, and having Patricia on first and then Day. Ohio State is so fortunate to have this kind of a coaching staff in place. What Ryan Day brings, and you can tell these guys love it here.
Oh, they really enjoy it. I mean, Ryan, it's funny when you go somewhere and, coaching is a very transient occupation.
Mm-hmm.
Moving around, you're going where the jobs are.
Right.
The jobs are where they are. There's no remote, working. I can't, hey, I've got the Midwest territory, so whether I live in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, or
right.
Chicago, Columbus, they're all the same. Now, you have to go where the jobs are. And so Ryan had moved a lot. And it's funny, him and Nina are from, a small town in New Hampshire. And it's probably interesting that I guarantee you if you ask, Ryan, but especially Nina in, a situation where, hey, when you were growing up, where did you envision yourself living? And probably say not Columbus, Ohio.
Right.
And, whether it was in Philly or San Fran, all the different places they've been, Boston, nowhere in that mix was probably hey, you're going to raise your kids in their formative years in Columbus, Ohio. And Ryan's been here for almost, this will be his 8th year?
Yeah.
He's been here for a long time. You're almost a decade with this. So you're starting to press the boundaries. Nobody has coached here. Tress was 01 to 10.
Was it 10? Was 11 the Fickle year then?
Yes,
okay.
10. So you got a decade there. Bruce was 87 or was
79
to 87.
87, yep.
He'll be the second longest tenured head coach to Woody Hayes.
How long was Coop here then? He was.
That's right. I apologize. Coop was second. I think he was here 13.
Yeah.
But he'll be third, I guess,
yeah.
right behind Coop. And so there's something to that, understanding that, and how much they enjoyed here. And the reason it just kind of came to my mind, because I remember I was sitting there talking to Romo one time, his last year, and he goes, my last year in Dallas, it had been his 7th year. He'd been starting out for about 5. And he goes, never thought I'd end up living in Dallas, Texas my whole life. He goes, but it's probably going to be the case for me.
Right.
And, he's a kid from Wisconsin. Oh, goodness, it'll hit me in a second. Burlington, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And he's like, I never thought that, I would live the rest of my life in Dallas. And this would be, I thought I'd play, probably move back home or, do whatever. He's like, but this is going to be it. And this is, where Ryan Day's kids, when people ask them where they're from, their answer will be Columbus, Ohio. And
right.
it's always interesting when you talk to coaches' kids like that. Wade Phillips' son, Wes, who I think is with the Commander. I can't remember. Maybe Minnesota now? I'll have to look at where he's at. But he, his dad, Wade, moved around a lot. And I go, Wes, where do you – because he's a little bit older than me, and our dad's – he was on this – my dad was on the staff playing for Bum and Wade. I go, where do you say that you're from? Because they move every 3 to 4 years.
Sure.
And he goes, well, I went to high school in Buffalo, so that's kind of where my high school friends are. It's like, so I always kind of say Buffalo with that. But it's always kind of interesting with that their kids are going to be Columbus, Central Ohio kids. And that's just, it probably was never in their calculus growing up. They played on their little league, T-ball team together.
Right.
And Nina's dad, Coach Ryan, that, this would be the place that they're going to be most known for being. Because I can't envision a scenario where Ryan's not here for a handful more years. And then, like I said, you're pressing on Cooper. His girls are coming up. He's have a freshman daughter, sophomore or junior son, and his youngest daughter is in 6th or 7th. I'm pretty sure. So, that's your family right there. And I don't know. So that's why I was just kind of curious. I was asking those questions, because for a lot of people, well, do you move or do you not? It's a choice. Well, there is some degree of choice in that, but there's not another job in Columbus that you could take if you want to stay here,
right?
Still be in this same occupation.
It's fun. There was a sales watch at football games this year. That's loaded with Ohio State kids, right?
Oh yeah,
both sides of those are. That's a lot of kids who have dads that played for Ohio State are on those teams. And I want to stay positive. I want to say something real quick. That
I'm curious how I want to stay positive.
Right. No, I just want to say this though, that after all of the crap he took after the Oregon loss and after the Michigan loss,
of course,
I would not have blamed him one bit for leaving. Yeah, I'm just not.
My dad told me, he goes, if I was him, I would leave.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay.
It's phenomenal.
I hope he doesn't.
But I wouldn't have blamed him though. I would have said, "Oh, he's running away, whatever. He's quitting." No, I would have totally understood it based on some of the things that were being said about his coaching and about the team and about the way the Michigan game and things like that. All the negative things that came out of that, and I am so. I would love to know what was going on in his mind when he threw that headset up in the air. What was his exact thought there? Because I would have double-birded everybody. But that's just me.
Well, because you weren't in the moment of trying to find a way to win. You don't really plan. I know people, the celebrations and everything else.
Yeah.
It's hard to plan all that because you're just so consumed with trying to make sure you find a win.
Right.
Like, the thought of like, oh, how do I plan my celebration? That's like eight spots down the line of like things that you're thinking about at that point in time.
So Pro Football Hall of Fame game is tonight, Bob, and I thought they gave me a reason to stay up late and watch it. For the second half of the game on NBC, televising the game, Brent Musburger is going to be in the booth calling the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'll be up there with them.
That is, I'm telling you what, that's a nice little nugget for the folks out there. That bringing him in, I mean, not too many people place wagers on preseason games, but Brent, he'll give you all the lines and everything else that's out there.
He's the recipient of the Pete Rozelle Radio Television Award, and he'll be joining.
Is that on your goal sheet, Thitoff?
No, it wasn't. That was not. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But he'll do a.
Can we nominate people? How does somebody win that, Tito?
That's a great question.
I could think of a couple people.
Well, I appreciate that, Bodie. But yeah, I don't know who else.
I didn't say it was you. I just said I think.
Oh,
I could think of.
It sounded like you were leaning that way because you were asking how to nominate. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But he'll be with Tirico and Collinsworth in the broadcast booth the entire second half. The man's 86 years old, and he's one of those guys, Bob, one of those voices that take me back when I hear him doing a football game, like when I hear Summerall doing a football game or Madden or somebody like that, But I think it's really cool they're doing that and putting him there in the booth with them for the entire second half. I'm curious how
he still got it too. I mean,
he does.
He does radio and stuff out, in Vegas. I mean, he did what he always wanted to do: move out to Las Vegas and spend his time talking about wagering, gambling, everything else.
Yeah, he does. I think a podcast.
I've been on his podcast and been on his show before. Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah. He's a great dude.
Yeah, he said that should be fun for tonight's game. Are you going to watch any of it?
Yeah, I'll watch some. I'm going to try to get to bed early though, for my conditioning test tomorrow. So normally I'd have a cocktail and sit down and watch that. I'm going to try to be disciplined and not do that tonight. Like Ryan said, gosh, I wish I would have wrote that down. Talent is what God gave you. Discipline's everything else.
Yeah,
and the skills are what you develop. And so that's hopefully have a little discipline there and not overserve myself, which will make tomorrow harder. But as Beam would always say, like, don't worry about future Brandon. Deal with he's got plenty of time tomorrow. Right. Past Brandon always screws future Brandon, but they've never met each other, so you can't really get back at him.
That's right. You got to live in the present, Bob. I would say just take advantage of that tonight. This is the last day. 42 is 41, right?
That is it. That'll be my number year for birth coming up. Coming up tomorrow. So scrolling through today in history, that's why I always like to throw out DeMarcus Ware because make sure I get him. He was drafted a year before me and born a day in a year, 366 days before me. So I always found like we always would laugh at the irony of that.
Right.
Just the fact that like we were back-to-back years and then back-to-back days as well, and always in training camp as well, which was always something else.
Yeah, he was amazing to watch.
DeMarcus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, great Hall of Famer and everything. But I'm saying just the talent he had out there. He was drafted, you said, the year before you?
Year before me, yeah.
What round did he go in? Was he
first round?
Was he first round? I don't know if first, second round. I can remember that one.
No. Yeah, he was a first rounder.
I think didn't Parcells really have to kind of hammer the table for him, Carp, if I remember correctly? I can't remember.
So
I think
here's the story.
Wanted to go Merriman, right? And Parcells,
he wanted to draft Marcus Spears first.
Okay.
And they had 2 first-round picks that year.
Yeah, because they still got Spears.
Right. But he wanted to draft Spears first. And he thought, worst case, they could get Merriman at their second pick.
Right.
And they were going back and forth. And I think, it's not crazy, but, they kind of pushed that. And I think that they convinced him, if you will, to take DeMarcus first.
Right.
And Bill would bring that up to him. Like, that's how crazy Bill was, with stuff. He would bring that up to him.
He would say, I didn't even want you.
Not that I didn't want you, but he's like, there were other guys in this draft that I may have wanted more. He's like, you got to prove to me that you're better than them, and especially, but then he also, because Merriman's first year or second year, he had one of the first, I think his first year maybe, he had 13 sacks, and DeMarcus only had 5 through the first 10 games, 12 games, and then he had 3 the last 3, so he got to 8 or 9, somewhere in there. And he's like, people were telling me it was a mistake, that we should have went with the other guys. I may have been on that train, and then he would pull him aside and be like, you're better than he is, whatever. Like you've got. And I remember talking like, listen, because I would tell to Mark, what was you saying? He's like, just that he saying those things publicly. He wants to keep me fired up and keep me going, but he would build you up in private. That he was happy with who we took, and ultimately, I mean, the decision made a lot of sense. I mean,
right.
DeMarcus went on to be a Hall of Famer and had an illustrious career, and honestly, on top of that, is even one of the best dudes that I've ever been around. So, great guy to me, and a great friend as well.
It's funny to me to think about Parcells and Jerry Jones in the same, like, the draft room.
That's why it only lasted 4 years.
Right, like the testosterone and like the personalities. And it to me, maybe I'm wrong on the spot, but to me, it's also like I can't picture the Belichick and Parcells with how strong those guys are.
We got to think though. Belichick came up under Parcells,
sure.
So there was like a subserviency that had been worked out, like as they'd been growing together, and so that's kind of how that usually works. But yeah, like getting together now after you've both run your own thing, like that's
right.
The problem. Is Bill didn't want anybody telling him what to do, and Jerry wants to tell everybody what to do, and the problem, like, and listen, he's got good ideas, and Jerry's good at a lot of stuff, but I mean, Bill Parcells, people can say whatever they want. I will say this, he built 4 Super Bowl rosters. Giants won 2. He took New England to a Super Bowl. His team with the Jets had they were up 14-10 on the Broncos in the AFC Championship game, I think in 97 or 98. And then the following year is when Vinny tore his Achilles, but they were on the cusp of going to the Super Bowl. And then our team in Dallas, like in 06 we were good. It's the Romo, obviously the fumble at Seattle. But that 07 team was built by built by Bill. And if Bill would have been there, I am convinced that Bodie would have at least went to an NFC Championship the following year. If not, probably made it to a Super Bowl at some point in time. And so you show me someone else that's built 4 Super Bowl caliber teams
4 different organizations.
With 4 different organizations. I mean, it's not easy. Bill kind of Belichick rebuilt New England multiple times, but he always had Brady there.
Right.
Parcells did it in the 80s, did it in the 90s, and then in the 2000s again with new quarterbacks, different style of quarterbacks every single time.
Yeah, there's only a handful of coaches that have even taken 2 different teams to the Super Bowl, period.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's only a handful. I'm trying to think who would have been. I mean, Shula did.
Fox did with Carolina and with Denver. Shula did.
With Colts and Dolphins.
The Colts and Dolphins. There's someone...
I'm trying to think who else would have been.
I thought there's someone that has won 2, but maybe I'm mistaken.
With 2 different.
Maybe Brady was the first to win as a starting quarterback for 2 different organizations.
That might have been it, yeah.
But I don't know if there's ever been a coach. I don't believe there's ever been a coach that's ever won it with both.
Reeves went to 2.
Reeves went to Broncos and
Giants, yeah.
No,
6 coaches. Falcons. 6 coaches in NFL history to take 2 different teams to the Super Bowl. Don, I don't know if you got which names you said or not. Admittedly.
Oh, so we got you round them off. We've got Parcells.
Yep.
We've got Dan Reeves.
Yep.
We've got Don Shula.
Yep.
We got
John Fox,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And that
Mike Holmgren.
Yes, with Seattle and Green Bay.
Dick Vermeil.
And Vermeil with the Philly and the Rams. That's good. Yeah. But yeah, no one's ever won 2. I mean, it's a remarkable feat to be able to try to pull that off.
It's probably best we're not in the studio today, Bob, because I can only imagine the faces Bodie was making when we were talking about the failures of the Cowboys with Jerry Jones and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody hates the Cowboys more than me, Tito. Don't forget that.
Of course.
If it were up to me, I wouldn't even be a Cowboys fan anymore, but you know what they say about being a Cowboys fan, Tito. You can check out anytime you like.
But you can never leave.
You can never leave.
Hotel California and Dallas Cowboys,
Hotel Cowboys.
all the same.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap things up and tell you
hey,
what's
Bodie,
got us.
Yeah.
You got a star on your helmet. Go play like one.
Thanks, Bob.
We'll tell you what's got us juice next. Morning Juice.
When was the last time you hopped out of bed without that knee or back screaming at you? Or walked down a flight of stairs without having to take your time? You thought to yourself, I'll just tough it out. but nothing changes. Hi, it's Tyvis Powell. It's time to call and schedule that free consultation with Dr. Walkoff and his team at QC Kinetics here in Columbus. I'm glad I did. Myself and others have turned around their lives with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that work with your body to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Natural cellular therapies, no scalpels, no pills, just long-term relief with no dreaded recovery. Check it out at qckinetics.com/Columbus. Bring your x-rays and MRIs to QC Kinetics for a free, no-pressure chat and thorough evaluation to see if you're a good candidate. Find out if you're a good candidate. The consultation is free. Just call QC Kinetics at 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Dangers rarely lie out in the open, so no matter where you live, it's important to know harmful pests can hide in and around your home.
Here I come!
Rodents and cockroaches are drawn to food waste and garbage.
I know you're out here.
Ticks lurk in tall grasses, and mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water.
I can hear you.
Rodents, ticks, and mosquitoes can all spread dangerous diseases.
I gotcha!
Seek the facts you need at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a common seasonal virus, but it can have major implications on a patient's heart health. Most RSV cases involve mild cold-like symptoms, but up to 160,000 adults are hospitalized each year for more serious cases. And RSV can escalate chronic health issues. If you're over the age of 60, talk to your doctor to find out if the new RSV vaccine is right for you. And learn more at heart.org/RSV.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Okay, let's go. Top row.
EYECARE.
Good. Next row.
AM America? iCareAmerica.org?
Yes. Eye Care America helps seniors who haven't had a medical eye exam in 3 or more years. They also help those with an increased risk for glaucoma, and the appointment is often free or at no out-of-pocket cost. It's easy to see if you qualify. Go to EYECareAmerica.org.
Bobby is the all-American male. Tito pulled a hammy getting his mail. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Final segment of the program. What a hell of a show, Bob.
Yeah.
We got
pretty beefy one.
People in the chat want us to go 3 hours.
Well, this is what they get. This is the time allocated, you know. And I'm not against doing anything. We could maybe figure that out at some point. You know, I'm just happy that every day I come in, my key card works, you know.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. And getting early today, but it didn't feel early. You know, when you're out here in this environment, it never feels early when you're here. And it's so cool we get to be here with the field there in our backdrop there, and they're going to start getting practice going here in about an hour and a half. But
they've got. I bet right now we can't hear them. What time is it? 7 almost. I bet the guys are in the locker room starting to get ready. Maybe in about 15 minutes. Probably about 8:30 is when they'll start going outside. They'll do a walkthrough, do their warm up, or they'll walk through on the indoor. We hear some whistles, and then they'll come out, start warming up, and get all that rolling. So that'll be a fun time for everybody.
Like Pavlov's dog. You hear the whistle. Does it affect you?
No, that's good. I mean, I can handle that. It's not a big deal.
I don't know if it's like either a PTSD or just like a thing where you just want to hit somebody all of a sudden if you heard the whistle, or I guess it'd make you stop if you heard the whistle, right?
Collaborate and listen.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's right. All right, Bo, let's do what's got us juiced.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the Master Griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
According to my sources, it's a Thursday. Bodie, what's your legs got to tell us?
That's how I church it up. I go from my Rocky work boots to my fancy Justin or Tony Lama boots. That right there makes the outfit fancy.
It's amazing. It's how you church it up.
Like Schlegs once said, blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots. What has me juiced today, guys? Super juiced that it's Thursday. Juiced that you guys get to be out there for the first and second practice. Be out there today, of course, as we finish up the show here. And tomorrow, scheduled to be joined by Brian Hartline, the Buckeyes superstar wide receiver coach there. What time are we scheduled to have him on tomorrow? Do we have that?
I think it's early, right?
Yeah, I think it's about the same as Matt Patricia today. About that same.
Okay,
same
perfect.
vein.
About 6:15 there. We'll fly to Today in History tomorrow, and then get to
we're going to
set
another record tomorrow for the longest first segment. I think we eclipsed it today.
Yeah, we got to, I think, about 37 minutes
Yeah,
today.
we did.
We'll see if we can get to quarter till tomorrow. But
yep.
That is me juice for you guys. Super juiced about the football season. Kind of officially getting underway, both with the preseason camps getting underway for college football around pretty much most of the country today, if I'm not mistaken there. And then got a little NFL preseason action tonight. I will not watch a lot of the Lions-Chargers game, but I'll tune into a little bit of it, kind of just get the feel for it. I believe it's on NBC. Am I correct on that?
That's correct, yep.
And so I assume
Not
we're
Peacock, actual NBC?
It might be on NBC and Peacock. It might be on both.
If it's on NBC, it's probably on Peacock as well. I just wasn't sure if it was on.
Well, Bodie, 2 years ago, it was only on Peacock.
Was it really?
And because Thitoff was over at my house, he's like, hey, do you have it? And he's like, I don't have Peacock. Let's just see. And the good news was I had Peacock. The bad news was I'd been paying for Peacock for I'm not sure how long.
Yep, I got this year. So last January of 2024, I renewed my subscription, and it was like one of those things where it was like, buy it now and you get it for the year at a pretty good discount. I was like, well, of course, that's great. I'll use this throughout the year. And then this year in January, about 7-8 months ago, I forgot to cancel that to then try to get one of those deals again. So I got the whatever it is, $80, $90, which who am I kidding? I'm going to watch it at some point throughout the year. And let's be honest, at some point in the next probably a couple weeks, it may have already been announced. I think it might be the Boise State game, but whatever. There's going to be a Notre Dame game on there, and who am I kidding? I'd pay probably $1,000, let alone $80 to watch that game. So that'll have me juiced a little bit tonight. Not going to watch a ton, but get the feel for it. It's always nice to hear Tirico and Collinsworth on the call. Just sounds right, July 31st football doesn't necessarily feel right, but at least it can sound right. And I will say, as I stepped outside this morning, and I'm sure you guys are kind of feeling it now, it was definitely some football weather out there this morning. Not like Halloween football weather, but kickoff Labor Day weekend football weather. It was nice and cool. It was pretty comfortable. So all that has me juiced. Bobby, what's got you juiced this morning?
Well, what's got me juiced for you, Bodes, is the fact that you're one of the few guys that you work in a team that covers the Big Ten, Ohio State. So you buy it, you can justify it for work, and then also you get your recreational viewing pleasure from Notre Dame, which they're going to be on there as well. So you get the real double dip, if you will, on the Peacock stream, and get that done. So I'm excited for you. That's a great little deal for you, and plus you can always pump to the beat of Staying Alive.
Exactly.
If you ever need some stuff to watch during the week.
I when I was getting some of that BJ Novak sound yesterday morning for Today in History, I probably watched like a solid 20 minutes of just like the best of. Of course, I had to trim it down to 45 seconds or whatever it was, but that was a great time. I really enjoyed that.
It was good. And the other best part, I don't know if you saw, I posted on social media, my mom, when I walked up to her house last week, she had a CPR dummy that was just sitting on the chair outside. I'm like, what is going on? She goes, it smells weird. I don't like it in the house. I'm like, so it's better to have Chucky sitting on the front porch? Like, what is going on here?
I can only imagine.
I felt like it was Dwight. I was supposed to cut the face off, harvest the organs. Exactly. But what's got me juiced? It's July 31st. My buddy DeMarcus Ware's birthday is today, so big happy birthday to him. At the Hall of Fame game tonight. I meant to text my big guy Zach Thomas. He always comes in, and we had dinner last year on my birthday when he came through. Because he flies into Columbus, he'd stay down here and then go up there for all the festivities and ceremonies that they've got going on as well. So, excited for all those guys to go back and be a part of that. It's an awesome experience. I encourage everybody to get up to the Hall of Fame at some time. They've done a great job with it over the last couple of years. Super juice because it's cool, and that's great because I can run all day in this weather. So tomorrow, that should make it a little easier for me. It's not going to be overbearingly hot. My son, we had our second practice, the first one I attended last night, and it was pretty warm. I didn't even shower after I worked out because I'm going to be pouring sweat at practice, which I was. It did not disappoint. It was a good time out there. getting the 5th and 6th graders doing some stuff. So excited to kind of be around them and get that going. So that had me juiced as well in a big way. Bodie, Jeff, what has got you juiced today, sir?
Well, first of all, the doll your mom put out, that creeped me out, seeing that.
It's not a doll. It's a rescue dummy.
It's a rescue comma dummy, or it's a rescue dummy?
Rescue dummy.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't know if there was a comment between that statement.
No
there.
comment. It's full straight ahead.
Is there a comment? Yeah, I didn't know there. All right. What do you think tomorrow? Can we bring the 8-year-olds out here and trust them while we're doing the show?
Yeah, I mean, Caleb will almost be 9. His birthday's on Monday, so I'm not going to have him.
Don't flex on me. Okay, fine. Your son's a little older than mine. That's okay.
I'm not getting him. He's not going to be here like during the show. I'm going to make my wife bring him over after. But yeah, I think they're going to come out here, cruise around. They have strict rules. My kids have been at the practice multiple times. Never turn your head away from the field. If you're close to it, always pay attention. Whistles matter. And get the heck out of the way, and better be seen and not heard. So those are the rules, Jeff, when they come out here.
I got you. Yeah, that's got me juiced. The fact that with the guys we had on today, we're going to have a Heartline on tomorrow. I'm excited about that. It does feel like football to me, football season to me. This morning felt a little crisper than it normally has. It's still muggy, but a little crisper than it has in recent days. So I'm excited about that. The rain's held off so far, which is good. But so much sound. And by the way, all we really did today, Bobby, other than making a nation weaker, is that the line?
All you did today was weaken a country.
Weaken a country. Okay.
Sweet dreams, son.
Yeah. Other than that, what we did, we added a ton to Bodie's plate because he's going to cut up all the sound now, right? Is that you, Bodie? You got to cut up all the sound from today's show?
All is a strong word, Thitoff, but we'll get some of it. Listen, I'm a big believer that when Ryan Day joined 2 different morning shows and he's going to have a press conference today.
Yeah,
we probably don't need every soundbite into the dad from that. We'll get a chunk of it.
Yeah, we'll get a chunk of it there. It's fine. But no, it's just it's fun being out here. It's one of the benefits of doing what I do. I got to come out last year with Dane for Fan Sports Sunday. I think we had Lathan on with us briefly, which I always love talking to Lathan. Lathan might be the most interviewed Ohio State player on the Fan ever.
Oh, yeah, because I would have him come into the studio
right.
a couple times. He would do my show weekly during the season. Lathan wants to get in the media, and he's very good at it. And he's a very intelligent guy. And it's a skill to be able to be on regularly when you are a current player, because to be able to be honest-ish and be entertaining without like divulging things and throwing people under the bus and having bulletin board material. So he did a great job of kind of walking that tightrope as well as anyone I've ever seen.
And he would come into the studio like live in the mornings. I remember one time, I think you didn't expect him to come in. We thought we were doing it by phone, and he showed up.
Yeah. Well, I thought he's like, I had time. I came in. I'm like, all right, that sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to come in, you're always more than welcome. He was so good. And part of that is like just having the relationship where I told him, like, dude, I'm not going to lead you down a path where I'm trying to get you in trouble. And if there's something you're starting to say, I will cut you off to make sure that you stay above the fray as well. So, that was odd. Lathan's one of my favorites, dude. He's doing a great job in Carolina, too.
That's the other thing I'm excited about also is watching these guys from Ohio State now at the next level progress. And it sounds like from the reports I've read, Will Howard's become a fan favorite in Pittsburgh. The people love him there.
He's a Pennsylvania guy.
Yeah, Pennsylvania guy. But I'm saying the fact that he's being embraced there by them. And I know that doesn't come into play when you decide which quarterbacks or which players you're keeping and whatnot. But I would hope that bodes well for him long term in Pittsburgh. Because a lot of quarterbacks that picked that late in the draft don't always have fruitful long careers. Yeah. And so I hope he bucks the trend on that and is able to do that. Trey Hendricks is back in camp for the Bengals, not doing anything yet, though. He made the comment that he thinks that if he had stayed away, it would be a selfish move on his part to stay away.
See, the problem is they're playing on his desire to play and being a good teammate, which is what the owners always do and management does in this situation. And then people get upset, like, well, you're not here. Well, he's the 3rd highest sack total of the last 4 years, and he's getting paid like he's a backup defensive end, more or less. So take care of him. Get him there. If you would have come to him early instead of being so contentious, it wouldn't have ever gotten to this point. He would have taken just an improved deal. He doesn't want market resetting and corrections and all that, but you've got to be fair to the guy.
Yeah,
because if he wasn't playing this well, you would have cut him.
Absolutely, and that's the thing that's tough with the NFL is that you have that situation where, it's a thing. Bobby, do you pay them on what they've done or what they're going to do? And
he's only 31, and I
understand.
He hasn't been hurt.
Right.
He is a grinder. He's in good shape. He trains well. Like, he can give you 3 to 4 more good years of production. Like, that's real. You don't have to guarantee for, but you need to guarantee a couple years for him.
I agree. But I think that with someone like him, though, I think you're paying him, Bob, for what he's done more so than what he's going to do. Not that he's going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
But I got to believe these last couple of years are probably the best years he'll ever have.
Maybe. I don't know. I think the next 2 years, like, sack numbers are a little fickle in some sense, but, like, he's going to be a double-digit sack guy and going to draw a lot of attention, and he's the only guy you have on your defense that's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, they have to have that this year. Yeah, Shamar
they
Stewart.
just got him in there. And listen, Shamar Stewart had 4.5 sacks, Bodie, in like 3 years. So
yeah, he was sometimes a little bit of a look like Tarzan. I don't want to say play like Jane. That's probably a little too harsh. But
he just didn't have production.
He needs
has
to
good
live
film
up to his ability, I guess, his potential, which you could
100%.
say that about any first-round pick. But
well, he's very talented. And as Ryan said, talent is what God gave you, disciplines the rest, and then skills
win on talent alone, gentlemen? You don't have enough talent to win on talent alone.
Hey, there's a reason why he said that, because it is very true.
That was the other thing that he said that Ryan Day said that was interesting to me. He said, it's different if you're playing against a team, essentially paraphrasing here, that you've got more talent in.
Yeah.
If you're more talented than them, it's kind of a different vibe type of thing. But that won't be the case with Texas. And I wonder if he felt like in each of the 4 playoff games last year, he had the more talented team.
I don't know if you ever look at that. Like, when you get close, it's like, unless you feel like, hey, we have a decided advantage here.
Right.
Like, we're better than them. And I think Ohio State's advantage was, hey, they were tougher than them. We're tougher than they are.
Right.
Like, we're battle ready. We're more experienced. And we have the best player on the field in J.J. Smith. We have 2 great running backs. Like, they can't stop us if we get good push up front. And that's how they probably looked at it offensively is, hey, if we get good push, our guy, and protect Will, like, they can't stop us.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of that element. And then defensively, it's like, hey, we can beat guys. Our guys can tackle, be where you're supposed to be, get them to the ground, and we'll eventually take over.
Bodie, do you think Ohio State had the more talented team in all 4 games last year in the playoff?
I do, yes. I think
Texas, I think it was close. And Notre Dame, that's the closest they've been, Bodie, ever. And this is the best, most talented roster they've probably had since, Lou was there. So they're on their way.
Yeah, they're definitely on their way. It should be fun this year with the college ball getting going today. I can't wait for that. So thank you to our guests today. The chat, Bob, we had well over 200 people in the chat most of the day. It's been fantastic. People chiming in there, and they love the day and the Patricia interviews, and they'll love Heartline tomorrow. Thank you to Ryan Day. Thank you to Matt Patricia for spending a lot of time with us. We spent more time with them than they probably expected, but it was great to have them on for as long as we did the extended period. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you back there, Bodie, for all your help as well. We're back tomorrow, folks. Morning Juice.
Bobby Carpenter here with Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. In sports, it's always a good idea to be working on your fundamentals. Off-season, during the season, it doesn't matter. The ones who drill the fundamentals are the ones who consistently win. The same holds true when you're running a business. Chuck Moore, CEO, and Travis Sanders, president of Riverside Bank of Dublin, know banking fundamentals can make all the difference.
Thanks, Bobby. There's no substitute for doing the right thing, and often the hard thing in business. Managing the books, cash flow, and sales tracking is as important as producing the product. The business cannot succeed without good fiscal management.
Thanks, Chuck. Riverside Bank of Dublin knows that most business owners are busy people, and that's why we can assist in cash management. Let one of our commercial bankers help you do the right thing, too. These skills will help you grow your business and get a loan when the time comes. We want to help. Call us.
Tune in every day for the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. Visit their office at 6300 France Road in Dublin or online at riverside.bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to protecting your business, whether it's your staff, property, or assets, don't make a crucial mistake by contracting companies that provide subpar and unprofessional service. What you need is a security partner known for their unwavering professionalism and unnatural liability. You need Event Risk. Event Risk is a U.S.-based, veteran-owned company that not only specializes in on-site guarding, but also offers armed security associates and executive protection agents. Event Risk, elite protection for your peace of mind.
Hello, my name is Eric Rose, CEO and founder of Event Risk Security Services. We are a U.S.-based, veteran-owned company providing protection services and consulting to Fortune 500 corporations, movie studios, celebrities, and high-net-worth individuals. If you're tired of fluff margins with low compensation for poor quality security officers and the endless revolving door of vendor staffing, then give us a try. For virtually the same cost, We can then address what keeps you up at night.
Visit eventriskinc.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things